There's a lot of things that come to mind when you think of Queen Disney. Cute, elegant, war criminal, but breaking the Geneva Convention aside, she's a really fun addition to Strive, and everything about her is good. Her gameplay, animation, her voice, and design are all top-notch. Although people would argue that her new outfit is heavily censored, I mean it is, but given the type of character she is, it isn't out of place. I mean, if they give a character like Ino a hoodie or something, then that would be weird. But another thing you gotta realize is, she's a queen of a kingdom now, and she was wearing a dress in Exerd, so her new look isn't really a surprise. About the outfit in question, I'm absolutely in love with how it complements Kai's colors, and it really sells the whole regal vibe to accompany her new status. For her hair, we lost the twin tails, but the flower aura emitting from the literal garden in her braids is a pretty neat substitute in my opinion. And this of course gives her the best afro do in the game. Compared to previous games, she just looks confident overall, which is really apparent in one of her animations, but we'll get to that later. The redesign of her sentient wings, Necro and Undine, are something. They have a lot better animations, but they look kinda empty compared to the previous version. Maybe it's to show how she no longer has inner conflicts with the two of them bickering at each other, but it kinda robbed them of their aura. This kind of thing didn't happen when you were redesigning Eddie or Paracelsus. Now they just look like Noob Saibot 1 and 2. Necro is the better looking one in my opinion, but Undine is just kinda there. They still are a technical marvel to look at in motion, but I wish they retained more of their visual characteristics, especially their eyes. They barely show up in any animation. Dizzy's voice actors all did a wonderful job. Her JPVA retaining her role as usual, and new English and Korean VAs, with the English voice actor being the voice of Jolene Cujo from JoJo's Part 6, and also being a huge Dizzy fan. And of course, the voice lines are really neat too. She's got one with Kai, Sin, Mei, and Soul. This one being so cute.
Hey, my queen.
Hello, my doting father. You see why I can do this, right? I'm proud to be your daughter.
But there's one thing that's really weird. She doesn't have one with Johnny, because she was at some point part of the Jellyfish Pirates. I mean, can you blame him? Making a character in Exerd took like 6 months. I can only imagine the amount of work that went into Strive characters, especially Dizzy herself. I mean, look at her animations. It's beautiful. And speaking of beautiful, her theme is the definition of beauty. Aisha went crazy on this track, and the lyrics are so wholesome. She's talking about Kai. And this line kind of ties in with Kai's own theme, Roar of the Spark.
I hold my path will be. I can't wait for someone to follow. The roar of the...
And besides the goddess vocals of Aisha and the wholesome lyrics, Daisuke has done the thing I love the most when it comes to these returning character themes. The leitmotifs. There's a little section where all of she plays her XX theme. So her fit is S, her animations are S really high A, and her theme is a comfortable A as well. But what about her gameplay? Well, she's not so hard to understand as a character, but she's pretty weird to get used to, but undoubtedly strong. Well, first of all, her normals are really good. 5P hits really high, close slash sucks you down from the air, but it's minus. Her far slash has 5 hits, her heavy slash freezes you on a clean hit, 6H guard crushes, 5K range is okay, and 2K not so much, but her 2D is ridiculous. She has really good jump-ins except for JS, which is more used for air-to-airs, and her JD is a projectile. Wait a minute, that's Fire Bubble. There it is. This was a special in Exerd called When I'm Too Alone. If it was the Water Bubble, then it'll be Leave Me Alone. And if I had a nickel for every time Arxis turned an Exerd special into JD in Strive, I'd have 2 nickels, but it's weird that it happened more than once. And speaking of specials, this is where the war criminal shows herself. We got Ice Spike on 236S or HS. That's basically a sniper. It comes out really fast, and not only does it track depending on the version used, it also freezes you, leaving you open to be comboed. We have the Ice Spike follow-up, Ice Field, that freezes the floor, creating some of the strangest interactions in the game. Forward movements from running or attacks don't go anywhere. And if you speed up too much, you can't stop. It's quite literally, in every sense of the word, a slippery slope. except for the slow part. And to add to that, when you get a knockdown on the ice floor, it does an additional OTG hit, which gives you another chance to continue the combo. But this applies to both players, so be careful out there. Next, we got Fish on 214P and K with air and ground hovering projectiles respectively. They can be destroyed, but not only can they juke the fuck out of you sometimes, you're already forgetting that Dizzy has a sniper, so the lockdown in this move is actually insane, especially when you can add bubble to the screen. And of course, it's mad good for Oki. And speaking of projectiles, Fire Spear on 236K is really good. The tracking is godlike, it snipes you out of an air dash, it's very spammable at a distance, and up close it's plus on block. And if you crouch block it, you can get an infinite. I don't know if this is gonna be patched out, but there is counterplay, so I don't think so, but it is really degenerate. Now, we're entering war crime territory. Michael Sword, or Mikhail Sword. Mickey Sword? Anyway, this move is just a sword slash, but holy shit, it is crazy. The slash Michael Sword, or SMS, is really fast and it has a bit of range to it. And given how fast Dizzy's movement is, this one move makes her a neutral monster. And that's excluding the shit ton of projectiles she can put on the screen. Man, she really wants to be her mom, huh? And now with heavy Michael Sword, or HMS, it's insane. It guard crushes, it hard knockdowns, it does a shit ton of chip, and its range reaches all the way from California to Virginia. And it also has one of the most satisfying counter hit and slash screens of the game. And trust me, you do not want to get counter hit by this. By the time you get up, fishes are flying at you and you'll be dying of uranium poisoning. About that last part, Wings of Light, the move that when shown in her starter guide, made everyone release a collective "what the fuck was that damage?" But the real truth of the move is, it sucks, but it's also busted at the same time. Let me explain. Well, you see, once you pop the wings, not counting the initial time for the animation of popping the wings, the duration you have to wait for the wings to actually start working is a lot. 10 seconds. That's like a year in fighting game time. Sure, it doesn't go away when you block, but not getting hit, especially with how volatile this game is extremely tough to say the least, especially with this new patch. So you almost never see anyone use the Wings of Light. But for the mad people that do and pull it off properly, it's absolutely busted. Because when you pop wings and you lock in and block while the wings are still up, they'll be dying from nuclear radiation while they're trying to open you up. And when you're on the offense, everyone dies faster than Asuka without the shield. Sure, it uses tension, but when you pop it, it doesn't start draining tension until it's fully activated. Meaning during the initial phase of Wings of Light, you can build a meter to prolong the wings and increase the damage. So it's actually a lot more balanced than we initially thought. Makes you think. They really do test everything in this game to make sure everything works properly with no bugs at all. Well, anyway, onto her supers. We got Imperial Ray, the good old reliable reversal super that's a hit grab. But unlike some of the others, the follow-up doesn't come out on whiff. You have to catch them with the ice before the laser comes after. And the range is also deceptively short. Not as short as Elfeld's super, but it feels like it should reach further than it actually does. And finally, we got Gamma Ray, the 100 tension beam super. And boy, does this look like a Kamehameha. People say that it's like Gohan's level 3, the father-son Kamehameha, and the damage is appropriate. The startup is really slow, but the beam itself is very fast. And it has this weird thing it does where it drains the first 50 tension when the beam fires at first. And you'd think that, oh, you can RC the first part, right? Nope. Unlike Imperial Ray, it goes straight into the follow-up animation, on block or whiff, regardless of if you're mashing RC or not. And one really cool detail about this super, besides the beautiful animation of course, Dizzy herself is the one to initiate the Gamma Ray, which is really surprising when you think of it, because when you look at the previous games, in XX, Necro was the one to do the move while Dizzy cowered. In Exert, Necro started it and then Undine helped, but Dizzy still scared of the power, stay out of it. But in Strive, she actually starts it and she struggles. But Undine and Necro, seeing how she has the confidence to use this insane powers of hers herself for the first time, comes out with encouraging faces and a helping hand. And with the newfound determination in her eyes, she lets out the sickest Gohan level 3 she can. There's so much story you can glean from this single super. You can tell there's an insane amount of care put into Dizzy's character. But the lore doesn't end there. She also has her arcade mode, but it kinda doesn't make sense. The story is just her escaping on her own to be alone, and Go Lewis is trying to stop her from putting herself in danger and stuff. And randomly, she sees Abba, who is the boss of this arcade run, and they were talking about how people change. Okay, I'm not well versed into Dizzy's and Abba's relationship, especially when it's technically a non-canon route in XX. It just flew over my head, okay? If somebody can explain it in the comments, I'd really appreciate it. But with that aside, Abba was fun to fight. She had a tired animation when her jealousy gauge is empty, and her meter increases over time when she's in normal mode. And when fighting her in stage 9, it's basically plus our Appa, where you can actually reduce her jealousy gauge by knocking her down. And that was a really cool callback. But the real surprise was in the credits. Dizzy has her own arcade mode and credits theme, and it's gorgeous. It's called Shelter from the Rain, and man, I absolutely love the Calm Guilty Gear songs. Naoki was awesome in this. And if you like Icarus or Frisia, you'd love Shelter from the Rain. Dizzy is a legitimately fun addition to the game. Both playing as and against her is so different from the other fights in the game. And with the new patch, everyone feels different as well. Chip has a new move, Ram is top 1, Soul got shot again, and many other stuff that makes the interaction with everyone novel. And it's really impressive how there's no game-breaking bug with Dizzy and everyone. What the? Great thanks to Benedict Jr. Oswide for being a Celestial YouTube member. It means a lot.